Welcome, everyone, to the Spring Solstice of 2020 ritual from the Proto-Grove of the Whispering Spirits.
Summer Solstice.
Summer Solstice. Okay. It has been a long time since we did a ritual here. Let me catch up on how we do it all. I apologize for not being able to do this in person, but with the weather being inclement today and not being able to socially distance in the limited area we have available down here, we opted to do this via streaming only. So the summer solstice ritual we have is to honor the Norse god Boulder. Boulder is son of Odin. He was seen as the brightest, the most shining, the most honorable of all the Norse gods. And as you will hear throughout the ritual, a bit about him. ADF rituals are all about building relationships between us, the gods, the spirits of nature, and our ancestors. Unlike many other pagan rituals that you might have been exposed to, this ritual will not be so much focused on raising energy, but will be on building those relationships. And the way we build relationships is through making offerings. It's akin to inviting someone over to your house and serving them dinner. One thing that they do is they bring you a gift, and it's this exchange of gift that helps us connect up to the kindred. And the kindred is the term we use to refer to the gods, nature spirits, and the ancestors. So without anything further, let this ritual begin.
All right. We approach the sacred grove with hearts and minds and flesh and bone. Join us now in ways of old. We have come home. We approach the sacred grove with hearts and minds and flesh and bone. Join us now in ways of old. We have come home. We approach the sacred grove with hearts and minds and flesh and bone. Join us now in ways of old. We have come home. Once again, we have gathered together as one people to honor the kindred and celebrate the changing of the seasons. Around us, the spirits of nature move. Amongst us, our ancestors gather, and before us, our gods stand tall. At this time, in this place, we set aside all that we brought with us. We focus our thoughts and our actions on this moment while we commune with the kindred. Now it's time for the tree meditation. Everybody close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, and just listen. Whene'er we stand in a sacred place, beneath the sun or moon's bright face, in a circle's rim or shady grove, our spirits go to the gods we love. Let all our minds go clear and free, and form the image of a tree, a youthful sapling of the glade, whose budding branches cast no shade. Around this tender, supple youth are seen its sturdy forebears' growth, those forest elders strong and wise, who nurture those of lesser size. So close your eyes and in your mind become one of the spirit kind. Cast off your cares and disbelief, and enter tree from root to leaf. Relax and breathe and center well, then let the peace within you swell, until it is a thing profound. Now send it deep into the ground. In every little tender root, feel water flow and then transmute. The sap will flow through every vein, our links to ancestors regain. Now let the sap rise in a flood and race to every branch and bud. Each branch extend into the air, each leaf unfurl in green so fair. The gentle zephyrs toss each bough, and to you calming breaths endow, while rays of golden summer light give warmth and lend their powers might. Let water rise and fire descend, and lively air the branches bend. Thus firmly planted in the earth, the elements give us rebirth. Now let the leafy green entwine, and form our sacred grove divine. With root and branch our circle form, and magic from mundane transform. We all are rooted just the same. We feel the same eternal flame. We drink the water free to all. We hear the gentle airy call. Now let us feel our spirits surge, and into one great spirit merge, to let all of the kindreds know that we are ready here below. And let us all link hand to hand, before all of the gods we stand, and in this hallowed space we start to show all that is in our heart.
Thank you. Instead of casting a circle, we take an alternate approach. In this ritual, we will be making an offering to one of our gods to stand protection over us and keep out those unwanted forces, whether they are spiritual or sometimes physical, sometimes our own emotional turbulence. So who is going to be making the offering to the Outdwellers?
That would be me. Hail, Thor, wielder of Mjolnir, enemy of the Midgard serpent, vanquisher of giants. We ask you to guard our ritual, to hold at bay the Jotuns, those who would disrupt our worship, those who act outside our best interests. Jotuns, beware this day and do not trouble our right, for amongst us is a mighty warrior of our gods. Thor, protector of Midgard, accept our offering and aid us.
Thor, accept our offering. Thank you. So for purification, I could ask you all to close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let all the tension within you go. Breathe in again, and exhale, letting all the frustrations, all the worldly concerns, and anything else distracting you from this time that we have with the kindred. Once more, breathe in, and as you exhale, envision yourself in a globe of white light. So, one of the main beings that influences all of our lives is the Earth Mother. She is the goddess upon whom we stand. The Earth Mother for this ritual is the Germanic goddess Nerthus. Here is an image of her behind a veil, as that is how we see her in the limited mythology we have. Who is honoring the Earth Mother today?
That'll be me. Goddess Nerthus, veiled one. You once were carried around the countryside as we carry an image of you around the circle. Your face hidden, but you see all. Your body hidden, but you feel all. Yet your spirit shines brightly for all to see, and your body is felt beneath our feet. Nerthus, accept our offerings.
Nerthus, accept our offerings. And who is going to be letting all of our audience know who or what the purpose of this ritual is.
That's me. We gather together this afternoon to worship the old gods and to celebrate the changing of the seasons. Boulder, Odin's son, his light and life was cut short. We remember him at solstice near the day of greatest light. Let us reflect on the light and happiness in our world. Revel in this time of light and warmth, for it will not last. This is the eternal cycle of the sun.
Thank you. So this part of our ritual, we are putting ourselves in the worldview that our ancestors had. So this is not the modern scientific one. This is a mythological worldview. Let us light the sacred fire. Let this incense sanctify this flame. Let it become a reflection of Muspelheim in our realm. Let this ice and salt sanctify our sacred well. Let it become a reflection of Niflheim in our realm. At the dawn of time, there was the Gnunga Gap, a great void that separated the primordial fires of Muspelheim from the land of the eternal ice and snow known as Niflheim. Over time, the flames were carried across the gap and melted the ice, and it formed steam. And from that steam, the first of the beings were created, and from them, the rest of the gods. The gods then formed the remaining 7 of the 9 realms. We have the realm of Asgard, home of the Aesir, of Vanaheim, home of the Vanir, Elfheim, home of the elves, Svartalfheim, home of the dwarves, Jotunheim, realm of the giants, and Midgard, the realm of humans. Growing between Niflheim and Muspelheim is Yggdrasil, the world tree. With his water from the sacred realm and the smoke, the incense lit by the sacred fire. Let it sanctify this sculpture so it can become a representation of Yggdrasil in our world. Here we stand at the base of Yggdrasil, from fire to ice and all the realms in between. From here, we look upon all creation. We now open the gates, which is a connection between our world and the worlds of the gods, of the ancestors. And for this, we call upon one of our gods, Heimdall. Heimdall, hear us, see us, guardian of Asgard, you who hear the grass grow, you who see far, you who are ever vigilant, standing at your post. We call out to you to aid us in our working today. Lend your might and magic to ours, and let us open the gates between the world. Heimdall, accept our offering.
Heimdall, accept our offering.
Let this fire become a gate. Let the sacred well become a gate. And let our world tree become a gate. Let the gates be open.
Let the gates be open.
With the gates being open, we now invite in the other kindred that will be joining us on our ritual today? Who is inviting in the ancestors?
I am. Welcome, Alfar and Disir. We make space at our fire for our mighty ancestors, for our honored ancestors, and for our beloved ancestors. You who are of our blood and bone, you who are of our spirit and heart, you who have walked this world and left it before us. We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We
We
honor
honor you.
Alfar and Disir, accept our offering.
Alfar and Disir, accept our offering. Thank you. Who is inviting in the nature spirits?
That's me. Welcome, Landvetter. We make space at our fire for the spirits of this land, of its plants and trees, its birds and beasts, and its waters. You who have dwelled in this land before man, who protect it, who nurture it. We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We honor you.
Landvetter, accept our offering.
Landvetter, accept our offering. Thank you. And who is inviting in the shining ones, our gods and goddesses?
Welcome, Aesir and Vanir. We make space at our fire for the gods of our people and the gods of this land. You who nurture our spirits, you who challenge us to grow, you who we return to when we pass from this world. We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We honor you.
We remember you.
We honor you.
Gods, goddesses, accept our offering.
Gods, goddesses, accept our offering. Thank you. And now we move on to the main part of our ritual, where we honor the deity of the occasion. Hail, Boulder, you who is fairest to look upon and fairer yet of tongue, we welcome you. You who is the most noble and honorable of all the gods, we welcome you. Boulder, O radiant one, we welcome you to our fire. While you feast in Helheim, know that we have not forgotten you. We welcome your memory to our fire if you cannot be here yourself. We are near the solstice, and the sun shines long. Almost the longest day of the year, but like all things in nature, this will not last. Today is longer than yesterday, but soon the days will get shorter. While the sun is long in the sky and will be so for many weeks to come, it is slowly dying, just as Boulder, the joy, light, and happiness of the gods, had died. This story begins with a dream, or better yet, a nightmare. For Boulder was having bad dreams. And he took these dreams to his father, Odin, the All-Father, chief of the gods. And Odin, knowing that some dreams, especially those of the gods, are prophetic, knew that this was not an ordinary dream. So Odin mounted his steed Sleipnir, and he rode the paths of the world tree from Asgard down to Helheim, to the mound of the great Volva. And in disguise, he questioned her to learn what the future was to hold. But the Volva, not being a fan of the gods, found out that who was questioning her was Odin. But Odin escaped with a boon. He learned that his son, Boulder, was going to be killed by one of his brothers. And with that knowledge, he rode back to Asgard, and he consulted with his wife Frigg, a very great goddess in her own right. And Frigg, taking this information, went on a journey. She traveled through all the realms and talked to everything and extracted from them a promise, no, an oath that they would not hurt her son Boulder. And they all willingly gave that oath because Boulder was much loved everywhere. And after returning from her journey through the 9 realms, she went back to Asgard, and the gods tested her work. Yeah, they all gathered together with Boulder, and they cast spears at him and axes. They threw stones, and everything that was cast at him was deflected aside, or fell on the ground, or bounced off of him harmlessly. Well, Loki, never one to enjoy others having the spotlight, grew upset and frustrated. And so he changed shape into an old woman and went into Frigg's hall and questioned her. And in talking, Loki learned that Frigg did not extract an oath from everything, that there was one plant that grew in Midgard, the mistletoe, that she had not extracted that oath from. She thought that it was too young, too innocent, and so she passed it by. And with that knowledge, Loki left and went to Midgard and searched for the mistletoe. And when he found it, he crafted it into a spear and brought it back to Asgard. When the gods next gathered together and played their game with Boulder and cast weapons at him, Loki saw that one of the gods, Hod, stood apart from the others, that he was not joining in the festivities. And so he went to Hod and asked him, "Why do you not join in?" And Hod had said that, "I'm blind and I don't have a weapon." Well, Loki told him, "I have this great spear that you can use, and I will point you in the right direction. Come with me, and you can join in the festivities too." And so Hod agreed. Loki gave him the spear, and when it was his turn, they both walked up, and Loki pointed Hod in the direction of Balder and told him to cast. And he cast the spear, and the spear didn't turn aside. It didn't fall to the ground at Balder's feet. It didn't bounce harmlessly off of him, but it pierced his chest. And as the spear passed through Boulder, there was silence in Asgard. And there was silence in all the rest of the realms. And the light grew dim. For with the passing of Boulder was the passing of the greatest of the gods. And as the silence passed, and the wailing and the screaming began, Loki and Hod ran. They could not stand the weight of the other gods upon them. Odin, seeing his son dead on the ground, looked to one of his other sons for volunteers, for someone to travel to Helheim to bargain with Hel the release of his son Balder. And so Hermodor volunteered, and he mounted Sleipnir. And for 9 nights, he rode the paths of the World Tree down into Helheim. And coming to the gates of Hel, he requested entrance. He was let in, and there he saw his brother. While Hermodor was riding, the gods began setting up for Balder's funeral. Odin took his great mystical armband and clamped it on Balder's arm. He placed Balder on his ship, Ringhorn, and Balder's wife, Nanna, seeing him dead and still and cold. She herself passed from the grief and was laid beside him. The next day, after Heimdall was granted entrance to Helheim, he met with Boulder. And Boulder gave the armband that Odin had clamped on his arm back as proof that he was there and safe. And Heimdall started to bargain with Hel, not knowing what Hel might ask. She may ask for his own life, a trade of one of Odin's sons for another. It was a fair price, and one that he would willingly give. But that is not what Hel offered. Hel asked for tears. She asked that for Boulder to be released, that she would need proof that everything in all the realms wept for the loss of Boulder. And with that, Heimdall rode back to Asgard. And when he arrived, he told Odin and Frigg what Hel's price was. And this time, Frigg traveled throughout the 9 realms. But instead of extracting an oath, she told a story. She told everything that she encountered about the life of Boulder and the price to return Boulder to the world of the living. And everything she told that story to wept. And after traveling through all the 9 realms and graveling and collecting tears from everything, on her way back to Asgard, she encountered a lone giantess. And so she told the story again. But when she finished, the giantess, instead of crying, she spat out, "What has Boulder done for me? Nothing. He can lie dead like everything else." And with that denial, Boulder's fate was sealed. And so Frigg returned back to Asgard, knowing that her son Boulder would never be released. But the gods knew that it was Loki who crafted the mistletoe spear, that it was Loki who pointed Hod in the direction to launch that spear at Boulder, and that it was Loki who, in disguise, was the giantess that Frigg encountered. And with those 3 denials of Boulder, Loki's fate was sealed. And the gods chased him down, and they chained him, and they drug him down to Helheim, where he was chained beneath a poisonous serpent that dripped venom upon him. And when the venom touches him, he screams and writhes in agony. And we see that in Midgard as the earthquakes that occasionally plague our land. But his wife, being ever faithful to her husband, holds a bowl, collecting the poison. And when that bowl fills up, that is when the venom drips upon Loki and the earthquakes show up. But this is not the end of our story. For while Boulder is down in Helheim, and while the death of Boulder set in motion the Norse Ragnarok, the view of the end of the world and the end times, our gods do not die. Boulder is in Helheim, and he is safe from the effects of Ragnarok. And when the world reaches its lowest point, when there is no justice, or peace left in the world, then Boulder shall return. He shall come back and bring the light back into our world again. And it is here today that we honor Boulder for the part he has played in the world and for the part that he will. I have here a piece of citrine, and I ask that everyone out there focus their thoughts, their intents upon this. The longing for the light to return back to the world, for our thanks to Boulder. So let us take a moment and charge this crystal, which will be our offering to Boulder. Boulder, accept our offering.
Boulder, accept our offering.
As I said, our rituals are to help us build relationships. So now is an opportunity for all you out there to make your own offerings to Boulder or to any of the other kindred to whom you have relationships with or whom you want to build relationships to. So we will take a moment. Now that we've had a chance to honor Boulder or our own kindred, we make one final sacrifice, one final offering. So here we have sunflower oil. It's a representation of the sun. Boulder, we have welcomed you to our fire. We have welcomed you into our homes and our hearts. We have told your stories. We have praised you. We have made offerings to you. With this final offering, let you be in our hearts. Boulder, accept our offering.
Boulder, accept our offering.
With the offerings made, we now ask our oracle to see if our offerings were accepted.
Yes.
And what are the blessings that Boulder offers upon us for this season?
The first card to show, which is very, very appropriate, is the Lovers. A time of communion, a time of being together, a time of togetherness, which is something our society, our group, our communities, our world desperately needs to happen right now. The second card is the card of ordinariness. To return to an ordinary way of life. Does that mean we're going to return back to the way things were? No. But our new, as they call it, the new normal, will become ordinary in our time. Those things that are vivid to us now, things that are coming forward, things that are being more closely examined because they are more visible to us now, will become what it needs to be. And the third card is the card of innocence. To being able to be returned to that childlike state, not in ignorance, but in peace, in the sense of peace that we have when we're a child. When you're a child, everything looks new, everything is fascinating, we're very curious as children. This allows us to get back to that space, get back to that, that childlike space where we can learn and grow and accept what's around us with that new enthusiasm to learn and to understand.
Thank you, Oracle. So, having made our offerings, having heard the blessings that the gods offer to us through our oracle, and for our world and our time is a very apt blessings indeed. So, kindred, we call out to you. Having heard your blessings, we ask you to bring to us the waters of life, to bless these waters, to infuse them with your blessings, to infuse them with the knowledge that the gods are amongst us, that they are part of our lives, that this magic that we see when we do ritual is part of us all the time. It is more than just the blessings that were brought out. It is something that permeates us, that we carry through the world with us every day. So we call out to you, Boulder, kindred, bring us the waters of life. Bring us the waters imbued with your blessings. Bring us the gift that you offer to us for our gifts that we gave willingly to you. And behold, the waters of life. For all you out there, if you have a drink of your own, symbolically you can drink that and accept these blessings. I will also pour a drink for all those who are out there. And I accept the blessings of the kindred.
Blessings of the kindred.
And now it is time to unwind our ritual, to put back in place the world that was before. Boulder, we thank you for joining our ritual. And we hope that our relationship continues to deepen and that your eventual return to our world is still far in the future. Thank you. Who is thanking the Shining Ones?
Aesir, Vanir, gods of this place, we thank you for sharing our fire, and may our relationship with you continue to deepen.
Thank you. Who is thanking the nature spirits?
Landvetter, we thank you for sharing our fire, and may you look kindly on us in our future meetings.
Thank you. And who is thanking the ancestors?
Alfar, Deezer, both new and old, we thank you for sharing our fire, and may our actions in this world bring honor to you. To all the kindred, we thank you.
Thank you. And now, as our ritual draws to a close, we call out once more to Heimdall. Heimdall, we work to set the world back to where it was. Let this tree return to just a sculpture. Let the sacred well return to just a bowl of water. And let this sacred fire return to just a flame. Let the gates be closed.
Let the gates be closed.
And who is thanking the Earth Mother?
Nerthus, veiled you came and veiled you go. Just as the earth is mysterious, so too are you. From you came this water, and unto you this water shall return.
Thank you.
Thank you and farewell.
And who is closing the ritual?
Our time of communion with the kindred draws to a close, and cares of mundane world begin to assert themselves over us once again. Let us take the blessings of the kindred back into the world and remember our connection to the divine. We have come together as we have done before and shall do again. Until next we meet, may peace and prosperity be upon you. Our sacred grove the gods do love, the earth beneath, the sky above. But now this ritual must end, toward our home and hearthstone fend. Again we clear our hearts and minds, the branches shrink and pull apart, the roots untie and backwards turn, and spirit fire less brightly burns. Let water sink, let fire go, let gentle zephyrs homeward flow, and as if in a cleansing rain, become a single tree again. Then from this solitary tree, your soul breaks loose, a being free. Your body calls, your spirit flies, returns, you slowly open eyes.
Thank you all for joining in our ritual with us, and to those who took part. As was said, may peace and prosperity be upon you all.
Yay!
Enjoy your solstice.
Woo!
Happy solstice.
Happy
Happy
solstice.
solstice.
Walk with wisdom.